If you're on the fence to buy or rent your next home in the city of Denver, this video is for you. It's so easy and affordable to rent your next place, especially when you don't have to worry about home maintenance costs or a mortgage. However, there is much more to home ownership than meets the eye, and as a realtor, investor, and house hacker myself, I'm going to go through all the details on what I've experienced and the plans for the future for just buying versus renting. So in this video, we're going to be going over the pros and cons of buying versus renting your next home in the city of Denver, and it's more surprising than you think, so stay tuned. With mortgage costs being so high and the constant worry of home ownership and things breaking within your home, it's tough to see the benefit of owning a home. Especially when the median home price is about $600,000 within the city of Denver. It's kind of tough. So why is this even a topic of discussion when renting is much more affordable than, let's say, buying your next home? So owning a home is all about the long-term gains. But before we go into the long-term gains and the pros on that, let's go into the cons. Yeah, let's nip it in the bud, bite the bullet, and talk about the bad stuff about owning a home. So the number one con is, of course, the down payment. And when you're looking at, let's say, 3% to 5% down on a home, let's say $600,000, the median home price within the city of Denver, 5% of that is approximately $30K, and that's your initial down payment. With it being your primary residence, you can fully take advantage of that low down payment versus, let's say, saving up 20% of 600 grand, that's 120 grand, which I know no one really wants to save and put it all into a house, so 5% down is probably the best way to go. And you also got to factor in the mortgage rate. With the mortgage rate, it is at an all-time high. I mean, at least in the past 20 years, it's at the highest it's ever been. And then you got to factor in property taxes. And for property taxes within the city of Denver or the greater Denver area, you're looking at about $3,000, maybe $3,500 per year. And then you have insurance. And with the taxes and insurance, that gets part of the escrow account, and the insurance and taxes can be paid on your behalf thanks to the lender that holds your loan. And with the insurance in general, things are rising pretty significantly within the state of Colorado. Wildfires are definitely a danger within the city of Denver. I mean, I did not know that myself, especially coming from California. I thought it mainly happened over there on the West Coast, but within Denver, sometimes it gets dry over the summer and it's just prime for wildfires. And so with that, insurance agencies know what's up, especially with hail happening potentially, and it's kind of a bummer. So right now, the average monthly premium is about $267 per month. We'll be factoring that into all of the costs here. And with that monthly premium of $267 per month, that's a 49% increase from January of 2023. And with you only putting 5% down on the home, you will have to factor in the private mortgage insurance, or PMI. And then also maintenance. I mean, you're going to be owning the home. You're not going to be reliant on a property manager anymore. You are the property manager. So with all of that, I would say saving about 1% per year in the of the total home cost. Let's say it is $600,000. Saving up $6 grand per year is a good justifiable measurement for any sort of bad maintenance or home maintenance costs. So now let's get into the actual cost. Let's put some real numbers behind it, right? So you got the down payment, which is, let's say if we were to put down 5% on a $600,000 home within Denver, you're looking at about $30,000. And then you factor in the closing costs, which I would estimate about $10,000. And then along with the down payment, you also have closing costs, the fees, like paying the lender. You don't have to pay a real estate agent at this moment, but there's more on that later. The all-in total cost at this point in time is about $40,000. $30,000 for the down payment, $10,000 for the closing costs. And interest rates are about 7%. And so the principal and interest payments to the lender is approximately $3,792 per month. And now factoring insurance, let's say that's about $2,500 annually. If you were to divide that by 12, let's say it's $210 monthly. And because you only put down 5% on the home, you also have private mortgage insurance. So let's factor in about $150 per month for the PMI. And now factoring in taxes, you're looking at about $3,000 annually, and you divide that by 12, that's about $250 monthly. So now we add all of that up. So the initial cost of the down payment and closing cost is $30,000 plus $10,000, so that's $40,000 for the initial cost. And then the monthly mortgage with Principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, you're looking at about $4,902 per month. Yes, I know that is a pretty big pill to swallow, and that's the potential maximum that you would have to pay out of pocket per month. It's about that $4,900 per month. However, there's a lot more to it, and a part of that mortgage payment actually goes back into your home, so there is a portion that you're paying yourself. And that portion that you're paying yourself is the principal of the PITI, or principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. So that principal is built-in equity on your home. And so all of this is shown in the amortization schedule, and you'll get a sheet of this before you close on the property so you know what it looks like. So for the first year of owning that $600,000 home at 5% down and all of those numbers all calculated, you're looking to pay yourself approximately $3,328 annually, or $277 per month. And that can go up if you don't hit the like and subscribe button. I'm just kidding. But it definitely helps me out, especially with all these numbers and all the information that I'm giving you. You want more people to learn about this stuff, right? So if you like and subscribe, and also maybe leave a comment down below if you have certain numbers or questions about it, let me know. Yes, let's go on. In addition to the principal that you're paying every month, that means you're paying yourself, you can also deduct the mortgage interest that you're paying against your income. And with that mortgage interest that you're paying every month, you can write off a portion of that up to the first $750,000. So let's say that's about $200 per month that you're saving from taxes. And those are two sort of benefits of owning a home, but let's go back to some of the negatives. It's the opportunity cost of what you can actually use with that $40,000 instead of putting it right into a home. So if you were to instead utilize that $40,000 into the stock market at, let's say, 6% growth annually, you're getting about $200 per month. And now adding that all back into the true cost of the home, you're looking at about $4,625 per month. Now let's go into the actual appreciation of the home. And this is where a lot of the average homeowners or middle-class Americans get a bunch of their wealth within America. So from 2009 to 2022, Denver has seen an appreciation of about 7.3% annually, and that's just on average. Of course, inflation is now catching up to that appreciation. And with everything considered, let's say inflation on average ever since 2009 is approximately 5%. And we're factoring in this inflation just contributing to the cost of labor and materials and just how the way the world works at that point in time. So subtracting inflation from the appreciation of 7-ish%, you're looking at about 2% appreciation year over year for just owning a home. So 2% on that $600,000 home is approximately $12,000 per year, or $1,000 per month that you're gaining. So now that the dust has settled, the actual amount that you are paying and just going into the ether of whatever expenses for owning a home is about $3,625 per month. But wait, there is more, and you have to factor in, let's say, the appreciation and the equity gain over all that time. You have to find out how much you'd be actually putting back into your pocket if you were to sell the home. So a recent Redfin study has shown that Denverites usually stay in their home for about 8.8 years. So let's say your home has seen some appreciation over time. So let's say that 2% per year for 8.8 years, you're looking at that $600,000 home to be about $703,000. And because of the influx of population, job growth, and just the popularity of Denver in general, I don't think that is a very far-fetched price that we should expect. And so now deducting about 6% for all the fees and closing costs and all that good stuff, you're now left with about $660,815. And now following that amortization schedule, that 8.8 years is about 105 months. So now your loan amount has reduced to $502,578. So now you subtract that $660,815 from the $502,578, and you're left with about $158,237. So now you take that $158,000 and you divide that by 105 months. And what this gives you is how much you would be earning just from living in your home and just holding onto the property within the city of Denver. So that number is approximately $1,507 per month. So finally, we get to combine everything into one number. So combining that $1,507 per month that you are earning just for holding onto the property for 8.8 years, you're generating about $3,625 per month in costs. Then the grand total of owning a home, if you were to hold on to it for 8.8 years, is $2,118 per month out of pocket. Whew, and I know that is a lot of numbers to go through, and hopefully you've caught up, but if you're at all curious about what this actually looks like, or if you have any questions on this stuff, all my contact information is down below in the description, and this is not the end of the video yet. But if you're just curious on how I got all these numbers and all that good stuff, please hit me up, text, call, email, whatever it might be. I'm here for you. And so that total amount of $2,118 per month can be mitigated through house hacking, but that's for a separate video. We're just going to be going over the buying versus renting aspects of it all. Yes, I am making a bunch of assumptions here and generalizations. Let's say acts of God like wildfires, tornadoes. I don't think there's any earthquakes. There haven't been any earthquakes, but nonetheless, if there's any freak accidents that happen, I am not considering all that stuff in this video. It's just something to keep in mind. And of course, the longer you hold onto the property, the more money you're putting into the home. So when you finally sell that property, let's say after 30 years, when the whole loan is paid off, you not only gain that appreciation, but there's no more loan on it. So all that money is potentially yours. So now that we've calculated the price of owning a home, let's go into the price of renting. So renting is pretty simple. What you see is what you get, and the amount that you're paying is just, that's it. You know, it's just an out-of-pocket expense. You're paying for that place to stay. The big question is, can you get a $600,000 property for less than that $3,625 per month that we initially calculated? So looking at these home prices of about $600,000 in Westminster or North Nevada area, 4-bed, 2-bath homes, you can expect to pay about $3,000 per month in rent. And then you factor in the electric, gas, you know, internet and all that good stuff, and I'd say that's about another $250 per month. So combining all these numbers with the $3,000 lease amount and the $250 per month for the utilities, that's about $3,250 per month that you would be spending in renting. So that sounds like not a bad situation, right? And it's also a much easier calculation as well. So of course, these are just the numbers, and let's go into the actual summary of the pros and cons of homeownership versus renting. So now we get into the pros of renting. And if you're planning on not staying in a certain home for, let's say, 5 or more years, and you're just staying there for 1 to 4, maybe up to 5 years, it does make more sense to just rent. Another pro is that it makes more financial sense with saving up that $40,000 and putting it into the stock market or utilizing it elsewhere. And let's say you can use it for higher returns. Let's say you own a business and that $40,000 can give you that huge piece of machinery or a company truck or something like that that will exponentially blow up your business. Maybe it is just better for you to utilize that $40,000 not in the home but in your business. And another pro with being a renter is that you don't have much responsibility as a renter. You can easily just call up your property manager and say like, hey, I got bees in the ceiling or whatever it might be, and the property manager will take care of all of that for you at no cost to you if it's not your fault. So now we get to the cons in renting, and you are at the mercy of the landlord potentially not renewing your lease or raising rent over the years, and you know that's just going to match whatever inflation is, or honestly they don't really have to give a reason, it's just what it is. Another con with being a renter is that you can't customize the home as you like. You can't put a deck in the backyard, you can't put too many nails on the wall or anything like that. It's just not going to be considered your home, and it just doesn't feel like home in my opinion if you're just renting. So now we get into the pros of owning, and long term, if you're staying in the home for 5+ years, maybe 6+ years, in my opinion, I think it just makes more sense in that regard. I am a buy and hold investor myself, and the name of the game is patience. If you just hold on to the property long enough, the money will come. Pro number 2 in owning your home is that you get to lock in that mortgage rate. And there are going to be some variances as the years go on with insurance costs increasing or let's say taxes increasing, but overall it's just not going to be that much of an increase compared to, let's say, renting. And the third pro of owning your home is that this house and lot is yours. Of course, HOA might have a different thing to say about that, but in general, especially on the interior of the home, that house is yours and you can do whatever you want with it. And now we go into the cons of owning a home. And number one is that it's a lot of money up front. I mean, like I said, with 5% down on a $60,000 home, you're looking at $30,000 for the down payments and then $10,000 just for the closing costs. Number two con in owning a home is that you're putting a lot of money into the house and it stays in the house unless you refinance it or you sell the home. Like for example, my San Diego duplex, I've been holding it for 5 years now and it has grown $400,000 in appreciation, but I can't do anything about it because I got a sweet rate on it, so I don't want to refinance on it. And also I just don't want to sell it. I just want to hold on to the property for as long as I can, so that money is tied up in the house. The third con of owning a home is that your local area is not guaranteed to go up in value. I mean, then again, I will say that Denver and San Diego, where I have my investment properties, it all makes sense in those locations because I see job growth, employer growth, population growth, all that good stuff. I'm just not seeing them going away anytime soon. And so far, all of those metrics have just been going upwards. And the last con that I can really think of just owning a home is that you are locked into the home, whether you like it or not. I mean, whether you have a fixed rate mortgage of about 30 years or 15 years, whatever it might be, you're locked into the home until you sell the place. Of course, just renting it is another option, but that's yours. Like, that is constantly going to be on your mind. And if you treat it right, it will pay you dividends. And so that's where house hacking comes in. I mean, instead of you paying the mortgage, you can have someone else pay for the mortgage. And it's outside of the scope of this video, but I myself am a serial house hacker. I've been doing this for the past 5 years of my real estate investing career, and I still house hack to this day. If you're ever curious about this stuff, make sure you contact me. All of my contact information is down below in the description. Yeah, I'm here to help you out. So thanks again, guys. Make sure you like and subscribe before you head out. And thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next week.